Hey guys, it's Mrs. Davis. I love learning about new places, so let's go ahead and get another continent under our belt. Today we're going to read about Australia. This book is written by Alan Fowler. Let's read. The biggest pieces of land on Earth are called continents. There are 7 continents. Australia is the smallest continent. So here we see Australia highlighted in red. Way across several continents and the ocean. We have America here. So it would take a very long plane ride or boat ride to travel to Australia. Australia is surrounded by water. Most continents are divided into many countries, but Australia is just one country. So here we have a top view that we can see the terrain of Australia, and that brown is the mostly desert. We can see the green land kind of on the coast there. Here is a photograph of one of their cities there. We can see bridges and buildings. You can find Australia on a globe. First, look for the equator. The equator is the imaginary line around the center of the globe. So here's a photograph of the globe. Here's that imaginary equator line where it's pretty hot, and right below that we see the continent of Australia. You will find Australia below the equator. Australia is often called the land down under because it is located under the equator. The island of Tasmania is part of Australia. Tasmania is rainy and cool. Mountains and waterfalls can be found there. Look at these gorgeous photographs. It's like such a beautiful place. Sydney and Melbourne are Australia's biggest cities. They are on the coast or the edge of the continent. So here we see photographs of those two cities, and as said, they're on the coast, which means they are on the edge, right by the water. There are many white sand beaches in Australia. People from all over the world visit these beaches to swim and lie in the sun. Here we see that photograph of that beach packed full with people. The central part of Australia is called the outback. The outback is dry and flat. Large deserts are found there. So here we see a photograph of the outback where it's super duper dry, and we can tell that because in the photograph we see cracks all throughout the dirt, and there is no moisture. In the outback, there are also ranches called sheep stations. Ranchers raise sheep for wool. Australia produces more wool than any other country. So our key word here is wool, and that is the covering that's on the outside of the sheep's body. And so the ranchers can raise up the sheep until they're big enough, and then they can shave the wool, the hair off of the animal, and they can use that to make all kinds of clothes and all kinds of blankets and materials. Many people visit the outback to see Uluru. Uluru is a huge reddish rock. It is 1.5 miles long and more than 1,000 feet high. So 1.5 miles long and more than 1,000 feet high up this way. That is an enormous rock. In the ocean, off the coast of Australia, is the Great Barrier Reef. The reef is made of coral. Coral is the skeletons of millions of tiny sea animals. This is definitely on my bucket list. I am a scuba diver, and I love to see all of the beautiful colors and all of the animals that are down in the ocean. The Great Barrier Reef is filled with strange shapes and bright colors. Beautiful fish swim in and out of it. All those reefs down there, coral growing. Many interesting animals live in Australia. Kangaroos carry their babies in pouches, as we can see here in this photograph. The platypus has webbed feet and a bill like a duck. Its body is covered with fur. Here's the platypus. He's swimming in some water there, but we see those webbed feet and the bill over here of his mouth. Can you believe that Australia is the smallest continent? There's so much to see and do there. So we've discovered lots of interesting facts about Australia, and now we have some knowledge of it. We can compare how Australia is the same as America and how it's different from America and how both places are important to our world. Happy learning!